Generally speaking, in Detroit, the car companies worry about this because they've got long-standing manufacturing there. There are a lot of big Canadian parts suppliers too. Magna is big. Martin Ray is another one that's a good-sized company. They send a lot of parts over the border. Very quietly, Toyota makes a lot of vehicles in Ontario, and Ford and General Motors still have production over there, so does Stellantis. So, look, the car companies don't like anything that really is going to upset their supply chains any more than it already has. Mexico's already been a big deal for them, and certain parts of Asia as well. So they'd rather see the status quo remain in place and hope it does here. In fact, the car companies generally want to see USMCA remain as similar to what it's been since Trump set it up, 5-6 years ago to begin with. But that's not going to be the case. But they have been fighting to sort of claw back some exemptions to that and reduce their cost. And that's why one of the reasons General Motors had better earnings today is they've managed to lobby their way into at least a little bit of a reprieve on these tariffs.
And looking at the GM results here, this is right back to their playbook, which is, they boost their 2026 outlook due to premium pricing on big trucks. Boy, that is America auto industry today. Premium pricing, big trucks, SUVs. That seems to be working for certainly Ford here. GM.
Well, it's working for all of them, really. A couple of things. So yeah, they are charging a lot of money for their big vehicles. Now, we did actually, I will say this, we did see some discounting on pickup trucks. As the competition is always tough in that segment, and you've got high fuel prices that I think is keeping some buyers on the fence for a while. So there's a bit of that going on, but GM's average vehicle is selling for $52,000, and that's an expensive vehicle. So they're keeping price up. That's one of the things that's doing well for them. We talked about tariff relief. They have lower warranty costs. That's helping them as well. The other thing too to keep an eye on, they've been boosting production. They had pretty lean inventories throughout the second quarter. So some of this is that they're just kind of putting more into the channel to their dealerships. And now GM says it's sustainable and that they see similar momentum into 2027. Or 26 and 27, but they've got to deliver on that. Otherwise, they're building inventory and they may have to pull back at some point.
Okay, so GM and Ford, they're all doubling down on these big premium trucks. What does the car maker strategy look like when it comes to hybrids, when it comes to EVs? Because my understanding is there was another charge related to reduced production of EVs.
That's right. And what that charge is, it's basically for stuff they've already announced, but they've had to pull back production on the batteries they make for the EVs, and they've had to pull back on production of the electric vehicles themselves. They're retooling a plant in suburban Detroit that they thought was going to make electric pickup trucks, but nobody buys electric pickup trucks. They don't buy GMs, they don't buy Fords, they don't buy Teslas, they don't buy Rivians. No one wants an electric pickup truck. So right now what you're seeing are these charges coming through the system. And GM is taken a total of $11 billion in charges there. They haven't canceled a single electric vehicle in that lineup. They still sell a dozen different EVs, and that's their strategy. They don't have any hybrids on the market now except for the E-Ray, which is a Corvette, very low volume. They say they're going to have a handful of them coming. Mary Barra told Bloomberg TV that, but none on the market yet. Ford only has a couple. Stellantis, very little presence there. Right now, that's a Hyundai and Toyota and to a degree Honda game. And all three of them are getting good sales gains in the U.S. market because they've got hybrid electric vehicles at a time when gas is selling for more than $4.